Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. First of all, I would like to say my greetings to my examiners and my supervisors, the Honorable Professor Dr. Haryanto MPD as my first examiner, the Honorable Dr. Haji Keminastiti Sakkir SPD MPD as my second examiner, the Honorable Sir Hairil Anwar Korompot MA PhD as my first supervisor, and the Honorable Memrian Rehana Sofyan SPD MPD as my second supervisor. Thank you very much. I'm Rini Sakkir from English Education Study Program of 2019. On this occasion, I'm going to present my research result with the title The Use of Mind Mapping Technique in Writing Descriptive Text. So I would like to explain about my findings and discussion. So the results were used to obtain empirical evidence on the use of mind mapping technique to improve the writing skill of junior high school students, and now the perspective of students about the method. The results of the study are presented as a description of the data based on the test. The result of this research is the presentation of students' learning before and after the treatment using mind mapping technique. The result of data analysis were obtained through a writing test. To obtain data and determine student skill, the researcher gave the pre-test and post-test at different times. Next, there are frequency and percentage of pre-test and post-test. Based on the table, the results for the classification above shows that most of the students was in poor category at the pre-test. 5 students got fair category and 70 students got poor. And then they're based on the table, the results for the classification above show that most of students was in good category at the post-test. There are 6 students got fair category and 16 students got good category. It can be concluded that the student's writing skill has improved, as seen from the percentage of good and fair, which is higher than the percentage of the pre-test. Next, there is a table that shows the result of t-test from pre-test and post-test. It indicates that there was significant difference between the mean score pre-test, that is 53.18, while the post-test is 75.27. The standard deviation of the pre-test is higher than the post-test. Meanwhile, the standard error of mean from the pre-test is higher than the post-test. It can be concluded that if the standard deviation value is smaller than the mean value, then the mean value can be used as representation of the entire data, which, as we can see in the table, that the standard deviation value is smaller than the mean value. Next, there is the percentage of students' perceptions. To know students' perception of using the mind mapping technique in their English writing class, the researcher distributed questionnaire to the students. The data was analyzed by using a Likert scale. The results show that students have positive perception about the using mind mapping technique in writing skill. This is indicated by the percentage of the students' questionnaire shown in the following table. Based on the percentage analysis of students' perception on the table above, this analysis shows that no students who state strongly negative statement and negative to the use mind mapping in writing skill. Even there is 3 students was undecided category and 5 students were positive category in interval 65 to 18, and 14 teachers were strongly positive category in interval 81 to 100. The table indicates that the implementation of mind mapping in writing skill is interested to the students. This is supported by the next table. So in this table, it's about the mean score of students' perception. The table shows that the mean score of the teacher's perception is 82.18, which is mean it is in strongly positive category according to the range of students' perception score. Therefore, the students have strongly positive attitude to use mind mapping in writing skill. Next, there is discussion. The mean score and standard deviation show that post-test higher than the pre-test, indicating that there was a significant improvement in both scores. Besides, the frequency and percentage score show that the students' pre-test writing skill was only poor. This is due to the fact that many of them do not write well. Based on the explanation, the researcher found that the use of mind mapping was effective in improving students' writing skill. It is recommended to teachers to improve students' writing skill by using mind mapping as a learning process in class because students are satisfied with learning languages with mind mapping technique and they enjoy using it. Next, there is conclusion. There is two conclusions from my research result. First is the use of mind mapping technique improves the student's skill in learning English writing. The test given to 85 students at MTSN2 Makassar with the post-test score of 75.22, that is good in higher than the pre-test score of 53.18. And the second, the use of mind mapping technique is very interesting to the students, so they are motivated to write a paragraph. It is provided by the main score of students' perception score, that is 82.18, which means it is in strongly positive category according to the range of students' perception score. Therefore, the students have strongly positive attitude to use mind mapping in writing skill. Next, there is suggestion. Based on the conclusion, the researcher is expected to bring benefits. First, for English teachers, first is recommended to teachers to improve students' writing skill by using mind mapping technique as a learning process in class. And the second, it is recommended to the teachers to make students interested in learning and not bored of the story. And the second, for students, first, with the strategy used, the students hope that the students will understand more about writing and enjoy the lesson. And the second, students' writing skill is improved by using mind mapping technique. And the third, for the future researchers, the future researchers can conduct with the same research about the using mind mapping in teaching and learning process. Therefore, the result will be more advantageous and be applied in a larger area. Thank you very much. Maybe that's all for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.